That's good. I've never had this book. Good. Whoa, that is good. Good luck with our shirts. Wait, where is it? Writer's tears. Tears of laughter. Yeah, because so many tears were shed. Oh, cried. So many tears were shed reading the books that led to this project. Ours is awesome. Eu so. I should know because I've read it 8 times by now. Because you've done most of the work on it. Yes, I homogenized. I homogenized. I took all 8 of our writing and tried to make it sound like Stephanie Meyer. And by Stephanie Meyer, I mean Sarah Ellenson. I missed Stephanie. Sarah Ellenson. Yes, our author. So the way that I homogenized it mostly was looking for repeated phrases that people were using for a protagonist's voice. For instance, I noticed that Nella had her say, "Oh crap," a lot, which is rather 50 Shades. Well, so I went back and added a lot of crap to the other chapters. Literally. I looked for places that needed crap, and I put that crap right in there. It was as hard as I thought it was going to be. It didn't take me 2 solid weeks of doing absolutely nothing. It was time-consuming, but otherwise not like mentally straining. It was enjoyable work. I don't know. I think everyone has a worst thing. But I think for a lot of people's worst thing is the querying process. Yes. Where you actually have to court industry professionals to like your product and want you and your product and your ideas, and that's terrible and awful, and I hate it. To do a query there, a process to, a standard formula that most people use is you write a query letter, you look up agents that are interested in the kind of book you're rewriting. So we would look for agents that are seeking young adult paranormal romance. So basically no one in the world anymore. And if you re-seeking that, then we would read their submission guidelines, which will say either send us a letter and a summary or a letter and a full manuscript or a first 3 chapters. But each agent is different. You want to make sure you resending the right thing if you want to make a good impression, which I'm not sure we do. But Lisa, I'm Sarah Ellenson. I don't understand why I need an agent. Doesn't my work speak for itself? Well, Sarah, publishers don't really do the slush pile thing anymore. Mostly for copyright reasons, as I understand it. A slush pile is agent pile of bad writing. And of bad No, it's the agent pile of any writing. Yeah, it's mostly bad, but that's just Sturgeon's law. Anyone who sends in a thing they've written to someone who they want to buy it, it ends up in the slush pile. So these people will get these submissions, and because there's so many of them, they call it the slush pile. And it's mostly bad, but that's just Sturgeon's law. Your stuff is probably brilliant. Your stuff is great. But it will end up in the slush pile, just like our stuff, which is brilliant. Genius. It's brilliant. You'll love it. So what does a query consist of? It's basically the back of a book blurb. It doesn't even have to have a "Hi, how are you?" But the most important thing is the back of a book blurb. She was running from her past. This is the one sentence right here. The one sentence hook, which says, "I am intrigued. This interests me." And Hunger Games is a good example because it's a good book. In the ruins of a place once known as North America lies the nation of Panem, a shining capital surrounded by 12 outlying districts. I already want to know more. Something's happened to North America. The first line of your book is supposed to be a hook. The first line of your back of the book summary, your query letter. If this was your query letter to an agent, you'd be on the right track. Here's my favorite 50 Shades of Grey. And our first line here is when literature student Anastasia Steele goes to interview young entrepreneur Christian Grey. She encounters a man who is beautiful, brilliant, and intimidating. That sure is what happens. Who cares? That's not getting me interest. That me interest. I'm not like. I must know more. The world was. If you ask, go on. It's not out of actual interest because no, really what happens then? And you going nowhere? Little did she know about the bodies in the basement. The only thing remotely interesting about this is beautiful, brilliant, and intimidating. But how is that different from anything else? How does that set this apart? It doesn't from bad to worse. Yeah. Okay. This. Okay. I don't actually physically have the copy of this cause we have the ebook version. This book Tidger's Curse is literally the worst book I have ever read. It is the worst. Yeah. It's the worst book that was actually professionally published by actually publishing the worst book I've ever read. And here's the as per Goodreads blurb. And it's also the worst blurb I've ever read. Oh God. Okay. Passion. Fate. Loyalty. Oh well, okay. All right. That makes me want to read this book. Notebooks have that. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then again it starts over. Like apparently that okay. And then it's, would you risk it all to change your destiny? Oh well, I'm just like, okay. You know, you read those like never do this about queries. And I feel like that's not up there. It's like the, would you a rhetorical question. And then the only thing worse than that is the last thing Kelsey Hayes thought she'd be doing this summer was trying to break a 300-year-old Indian curse. And it's like, okay, the last thing Lego Brick thought that they'd be doing was going on an epic adventure. Like that is the worst book. Oh God. And it just goes on from there. It's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible blurb for a terrible, terrible book. It's really bad. There were other ways to go about it. For instance, Twilight takes a slightly different approach, and Twilight being, you know, the spark of all of these. Hold my whiskey, please. All right. It starts off. It has a quote on the back. A very famous quote about three things. I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him that didn't know how dominant that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. It's intriguing. It's interesting. It's a quote straight out of the book. Didn't have to put any extra thought in that. I mean, if we have a quote that's actually interesting in our book, we can talk about it. Third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. I mean, it's got romance. It's got danger. It's got blood. This is much better than the previous two. Yeah. Like you know, I guess that's kind of all you need to know. And then, you know, and bear in mind, these are not query letters. This was a professionally published book. It was always professionally published, unlike 50 Shades and Tidger's socks. Well, okay, there's also this one. All right. Ireland has been blessed with great poets and playwrights down through the centuries. However, most, if not all, of our great writers suffered from writer's block. That's pretty good. That's one book at a time. Many sought comfort and inspiration from the water of life. Many thought they saw I fall for Whoa. Whiskey. That's not a book at all. It's got a book blurb on it, though. Better than Tidger's. It's much better than the Tidger book. It's also more delicious. Yeah, it's better in every possible way. You not paying us, we swear. You know, writer steers a delicious, quality Irish pot still whiskey, available only in Ireland. You don't know what hell I went through to get this. By the way, that I could find a whiskey called Writer Steers. Thank you. And bring it back to New York. And bring it back to New York and write it off on me text. It says a traded me tomorrow's to remain in yesterday. Whiskey tears are falling now. Each one cries another day. Still better than Twilight. Still a better low story than Twilight. Me and me tears. So our query letter, Our back of the book blurb. Yeah, what is our hook? We can't say Twilight with Cthulhu. Yeah, but I feel like that is the hook. Would you like to read a paranormal teenage romance with Cthulhu? Yes, romance has to be in there. It has to be about love. It has to be about her being the chosen one, being the only one prophecy that can save the world. We should do the thing that the Tiger book does where it's like, would you? Terrible rhetorical question. Yeah. Well, we have to say something about a mysterious, beautiful boy who hates her at first. Yeah. And she's like, why does he hate me? I think that's our book. That's what's going to get people to want to read this. Then we just like sprinkle hints about immortality and having the keto destroy. Yeah. I think it needs to be like only she has the key to stopping him, but not in the way he ever dreamed. And the word dream has to be in there. Of course. Yeah. Lots and lots about dreaming. And just yeah. And that might be the title of our book. Yeah. We still working on that. We still trying to figure out the title. Yeah. Give us titles. Yeah. Right now the best way we got so far is dream callers. I am really not kidding. There's streams and there's calls. It's a little weak. Yeah. Too bad we can't go like, Stephanie Mears wanted to name it Forks. Forks, which forking sucks. So now we re-up to the serious business point. We re-actually having to figure out where to send this and how to send it. So, since everyone is now in on the joke, and we start having our Facebook page, which you can like our author here. And the photos there, we paid for the photos. They relicensed stock images of a lady. Just so you know, like it was that lady, like she's a professional model and we paid for them. Yeah. Now is the point where you re-in on the joke, play it straight. You re-in on this solemn venture with us. It is an experiment, especially for other readers who aren't you. Like I feel like that's where it's really interesting. We not looking to trick anyone. We just want to see what we can do. We not out to hurt anyone's feelings. We trying to make, we want to see what sells. Yeah. Nate came the stranger. Nate came the salute. Ivy always wanted to be a little bit of an Andy Kaufman. Yeah, exactly. So it's like when you like the Facebook page, it's not us, it's actually the lady. If you follow her on Twitter, which is here, tweet her like she's an actual human. When it comes to that, when it's on Goodreads, you leave actual reviews, like either good reviews, or bad reviews like, yeah, you could say it sucks, but treat it like it's a real book. Treat it like it's legit. Like from now on. It's like from now on, you are actors in this grand experiment. You act as always, follow us on Twitter at Shay Apocalypse and tweet at the silly book, sexy alien book for the silly stuff and leave your comments. Suggestions for the query and our title, which we still don't have, and all that fun stuff down there and watch us on Blip. I'm sorry you missed out on these incredibly sexy shirts. They re so cute. Look at his I have sparkles. I missed the memo. I say he got the os cream from Uncle Neil. Yea. And, as always, if you live in Ireland, I'm jealous. For many reasons, but yea. Well, think of how much they have to pay tax-wise for this stuff. Duty-free. Yea, duty-free. Cheers.